Hi, it's Eric Dorward with the Spartan Rocketry Club back again to finish our build, at least the construction for the most part, of our Estes Shattered kit. Now, we've finished, this is the base of the rocket, right? So we've got the fins done. We don't need this for a while. We are going to be building the payload section next. That's this clear bit. Around it, we're going to have two attachment points. These are both identical, but they don't fit too well. So we need an adapter to go on the adapter, on the payload part. That's going to be our first bit, but we want to glue that in place. So that's what we'll do. These are identical, and so are these, so it doesn't really matter what order we go in. I'm actually going to put the glue on the inside of this. Although I suppose you could put it on the plastic part. It shouldn't make much of a difference. Glue's on the inside. We'll slide it down, maybe try to spin it around a couple times. Spread the glue out. Repeat the process. Glue, glue, glue. And we want to try not to get any of this on the outside faces of the plastic because it'll melt that too. All right, spinning it around. All right, I'm going to dab things up on the inside here because I did have some excess. Same deal here. And there we go. Nice and clean. Now, we should be able to get our adapter right over the top, and that's a much more snug fit. That looks pretty good. So we need to glue. We are going to put a little bit of glue on the inside of the payload bay here. And that should be easy enough. A little bit. Spread it out. And then that actually seems like quite a bit. So I'm going to kind of try to spread some of that off. There we go. And we will put it on. And I'm going to put it down to the edge of the dark part. And I do have a little bit of excess in there, so I'm going to try to dab that up as best I can. So I'm going to put my rag in here. I've got a pencil, so it should let me kind of spin it around and mop things up reasonably well. Oops. There we go. All right. Let's get my paper out. Don't want that down there, of course, as a permanent resident. There we go. Now, so this is the part where you have to make a decision. If we just glue this one on, you'll never be able to get in here, and you wouldn't be able to put anything in it. Unfortunately, I don't think there's really a great way to be able to use this as a payload bay and have it really rock steady. We could tape this with just regular plastic, clear tape or masking tape, and it might work, but I think really we just kind of have to deal with the fact that we're not going to get in here. It's unfortunate. It would be nice to have a payload bay that we could put stuff in, but I don't think that's going to happen and be able to keep the rocket strong and good in flight. So I'm going to try to use a little bit less glue this time. I'm not going to be able to mop this up. So I'm going to try to use less. Fortunately, this stuff flows pretty freely. So that's a lot less. That should be pretty good. In this goes. I'll spin it around again and try to get it lined up so that it's at the edge of the colored section. And that looks pretty good. All right, so this bit is done. The next bit we're doing in the instructions is we're taking the body tube that we haven't used yet, and we're going to put the nose cone in it. So we'll test fit it first. Seems fine. All we're going to do is put a little bit of glue in the body here. There we go. Put the nose cone in. Spin it around a little bit to spread the glue, and that should hold. There we go. All right, last but not least is we're going to take one end of this, and this is identical, so it doesn't really matter which end's which, and we're going to put some glue here, well, on the inside of the tube, and we will have finished our top section of the rocket. So a little bit of glue on this end too. Again, it doesn't matter which side you're using. I think there's a prettier one, so it doesn't really matter. In this goes, spin it around. This is not a super snug fit. The glue should hopefully fix that, but it's coming off pretty easily at the moment. So we will just leave that as is. That needs to dry. So now we've basically assembled this. We've got the bottom part. Ultimately, the rocket will go together like this. Yeah, so the construction is largely done. There are two other little things to do. One is we're going to get the shock cord prepared, and the other is we're going to do the parachute. I need to do a little bit of trimming to do the shock cord, so I will join you in one moment. Okay, here is the template for our mount for the shock cord. Now, you're going to have to cut it out of the instructions. That's why I paused there, because it's kind of in the instructions. You don't want to cut it out until you actually need it. We're going to put some glue down in the section that says 2. Eventually, this thing will have glue in it, right? Pretty sure it's got glue. Oh, dear. Yeah, there's glue in there. Probably should have shaken this out first. There we go. All right, glue. It's purple. Neat. So we're going to put a little bit of glue down, lay down the shock cord in section 2. Then we're going to fold section 1 on top. Squeeze it out. You'll probably get some glue come squirting out the seams. That's fine. We do not need to wait for this to dry before we put some glue in section 3. There it goes. All right. Glue in section 3. Then fold it over again. There we go. Now, once you've got this done, you're going to hold it, and you're going to squeeze it, count to 30. You don't actually want to see me count to 30, but that's what you need to do. Clean up any gluey mess, too. This will go off to the side. I'll be right back for the parachute. Okay, the parachute. You have options for this. Now, the instructions just say gather up the threads like this and fish them through the little hook here. I have gone out and gotten us these barrel swivels for fishing. We're actually going to use these instead. They avoid tangles, or they're supposed to. So how we're going to do that is we're going to still gather up all the threads, try to pull them as tightly as we can, and then we're going to weave this through the eyelet. Actually got to get them all, though. There we go. Make sure the barrel is through. Once we do that, we can just weave the barrel through again. And there. This we can attach. The final bits of construction I will do in another video because the stuff needs to dry. I will see you then.